The phone rang just as I was finishing my coffee, the kind of ordinary moment that never prepares you for what's coming. My mother's name flashed on the screen and I answered, expecting a quick check-in or a reminder about some family event. Instead, her voice was oddly cheerful, almost forced. "I sold the house," she said, as if she were announcing a new recipe she'd tried. For a second, I thought I'd misheard. Our house, the one I grew up in, the one with my initials carved into the banister. I felt my heart drop, a cold rush of disbelief flooding my chest. "You sold it," I repeated, barely recognizing my own voice. She brushed it off, saying it was time that things change. But she hadn't told me. Not a word. I hung up, stunned, questions racing through my mind. Why now? Why in secret? What was she hiding? As I drove through the winding streets of my old neighborhood, every landmark seemed to tug at a different memory. The corner store where I bought my first ice cream, the park where I learned to ride a bike, the mailbox I once decorated with stickers. Each sight brought a wave of warmth, a reminder of laughter echoing through. Summer nights in the comfort of my father's, arms after a scraped knee. But with every mile, the ache of loss grew sharper. The house wasn't just a building. It was the backdrop to every chapter of my childhood, the place where secrets were whispered under blankets and dreams were born in the attic. Now, knowing it was no longer ours, every memory felt tinged with grief. The joy of the past collided with the pain of the present, leaving me suspended between nostalgia and heartbreak. I pulled into the driveway, the house looming strangely, unfamiliar without the usual clutter of bikes and flower pots. The front door creaked open and I stepped inside, greeted by hollow echoes instead of laughter. My mother was in the living room, boxing up the last of the photo albums. I wanted to demand answers, to ask why she'd kept this from me, but the words tangled in my throat. "Why didn't you tell me?" I finally managed, my voice barely above a whisper. She avoided my gaze, mumbling something about needing the money, about how it was just time. Her explanations felt thin, like a curtain hiding something deeper. The silence between us grew heavy, filled with all the things neither of us could say. As I looked around at the empty rooms, I realized this wasn't just a goodbye to a house. It was a farewell to a part of myself. I wandered through the empty rooms, each step echoing with memories I wasn't ready to let go. My old bedroom felt smaller than I remembered, stripped of posters and childhood treasures. I ran my hand along the wall, pausing at the spot where the paint never quite matched. A secret only I knew. On impulse, I knelt and pried up the loose floorboard, the one I used to hide notes and candy from my brother. Beneath it, I found a small, dust-covered envelope with my name written in my father's familiar handwriting. My breath caught as I opened it, the paper trembling in my hands. The letter was gentle, filled with love and regret, and stories of his own childhood in this very house. Near the end, his words shifted. "If you're reading this, it means the house is no longer ours. But there's something I left for you, something important. Go to the old oak tree in the backyard. You'll understand." My heart pounded with a mix of dread and hope. What could he have hidden all these years? Why did he wait for this moment? I clutched the letter, suddenly desperate to uncover the secret he'd left behind. I hurried to the backyard, the grass wild and overgrown, the old oak tree standing just as it always had, steady, silent, a witness to every chapter of our family's story. I knelt at its roots, digging with trembling hands until my fingers struck metal. A small rusted tin box emerged from the earth, its hinges stiff with age. Inside, I found a bundle of faded photographs, my parents young and smiling, me as a baby in my father's arms, moments I barely remembered but suddenly ached for. Beneath the photos was a folded deed, my name printed at the top, and another letter. This one was from both my parents, written years ago. They spoke of the sacrifices they'd made to keep the house, the mounting debts, the sleepless nights spent worrying about the future. Selling the house, they wrote, was never what they wanted, but sometimes love means letting go. The land in the deed was their gift to me, a new beginning, a piece of hope for when I needed it most. My anger softened, replaced by gratitude and a bittersweet understanding. The truth was painful, but it was also a testament to how deeply I was loved. I walked back inside, the tin box pressed tightly to my chest, and found my mother sitting quietly in the kitchen. Without a word, I placed the photos and the letters on the table between us. She looked at them, her eyes filling with tears, and for the first time, I saw the weight she'd been carrying alone. We really talked about the struggles, the choices, and the love that had shaped every decision. The pain of losing the house was still there, but it was softened by the truth we finally shared. I realized then that home wasn't just the walls we lived in or the rooms we filled with memories. Home was the strength we found in each other, the sacrifices made out of love, and the courage to start again. As the sun set outside, I felt hope rising quietly, promising that this ending could also be a beginning. I stood at the doorway one last time, the key cool in my hand, and let the memories settle around me like a gentle embrace. With a deep breath, I locked the door, feeling the finality but also a quiet peace. The house was no longer ours, but the love, the lessons, and the strength my family gave me would always be mine to keep. As I walked away, the weight of loss felt lighter, replaced by the promise of something new. Sometimes, letting go isn't the end. It's the start of a story you never expected to find.